Hey everybody out there, and welcome back to another episode of the Dark Avenger Comic Book Review. You guys know myself, I'm Chris, and Mike.
Yep.
And we are here with another episode, as I said, of the Dark Avenger Comic Book Review. We're only a mere 12 episodes away from 200. 12 weeks from now, we will be going into 200. That is exactly 3 months from now.
And 2 weeks until
Considering none of the months from now until then is 5 weeks, but I believe next month actually
very good.
Actually 5 weeks. Put that. Thank you. So
yep. And then we'll get into the single days, like we do on Broken Boys of Ultimate Worlds.
So 12 weeks away from 200. Really excited for that, guys. Just a little thing to note. The last 2 weeks I did not do before my actual comic books, my digital comics, like a run through of the books I read digitally. That's because on my 2 weeks off from Dark Avenger Inc. I did not read anything digitally. I hardly was on the computer actually last week, due largely to the fact that I was doing a lot of work, a lot of sub work. So I did not get the chance to actually watch as much as I'd hoped, or do as much as I'd hoped. So the past 2 weeks I kind of took a break from the digital comics. So starting next episode I will have digital comics read. I know a lot of people have been asking me about my Epic Force reviews. I apologize. It's been a hectic, busy schedule, so I'm just trying to take the time out and actually do it. But hopefully Epic Force will be up soon. And yeah. So anyway, the comics we are reviewing in this episode were released on June 5th, the first week of June 2013. We got 2 indie books, then we're going into Marvel, and then we concluded all with DC
And I got 4 comics for this week as well.
Yes,
and they were really satisfying reads, I have to say.
And a comic I do not have in this pile, but I did buy. 2 of them was Looney Tunes 231. If you want to see the review on that, you can go on Dark Avenger Inc. That's Cindy's book. And Garfield, because we love Garfield. However, I have one tiny, itty-bitty complaint about this week's Garfield. I believe it was issue number 14.
I think so. I don't know.
Whatever issue it was, it came out this week.
You want me to go look?
No, it's okay. One tiny complaint. 2 tiny complaints. A, Lisa Moore did not cover it. Boom.
Yeah.
If you want to keep my business, let Lisa Moore color Garfield. She knows how to do it. No offense to anybody else that's colored Garfield, but I like the way Lisa colors it. And number 2, the second story, get a different artist. Dear Lord, get a different artist. That artwork was awful. Awful. At least the first story had the same artwork, just colored differently. And like I said, I like Lisa's coloring better. It fits Garfield.
I mean,
but beside the point, the second artist, oh my God, did not fit Garfield at all. Good art, you know. I mean, I'm sure he's a great artist, but it does not work for Garfield. Switch. Get a different book.
Oh, and let's not go into Futurama comic book. Oh my God.
Futurama came out 2 weeks ago.
That book, I didn't know where.
Mike's talking about the latest Futurama, and it comes out every 2 months.
Don't get
that book was so convoluted it wasn't even funny. I don't even remember what number it was, but that book, oh man, stay away from the latest Futurama.
It gives me a headache not even to remember the issue.
And actually, Mike's starting us off this week with IDW's Color Classics.
Yep, and that would be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Color Classics, issue number 11. This book was like my favorite book of the week next to something else. The City Fall Part 1.
Oh, okay.
I did on my in-depth review, which you can see on Dark Avenger Inc. I love how April does her little journal in her comic issue. Yeah, but
I couldn't hit you.
I didn't need your assistance. Thanks.
You're welcome.
But I'll comic slap you. But beside the point,
comic slap
throughout the whole issue,
she was naked.
No.
She
just talks about the turtles of Leonardo. Then goes into Donatello, then Michelangelo, which Michelangelo was pretty shocking to me actually, because I never thought Michelangelo would be like that, but then throughout the events things change. And Raphael, Also along with Casey Jones, and there's a little Raphael Casey Jones moment with the Jeep.
I love Raphael and Casey. They've always got those moments.
And yeah, then there was a part where April fell through the ice, and thank goodness for Leonardo that saved her. And basically, it's just a whole journal about April's inner thoughts, and that's what I liked about this comic book. Like, you get more of an inner thought from April, and yeah, this.
I believe in the next issue, actually, the Turtles go back to New York.
To Fate's the Foot Clan, yeah, because Master Splinter said that you have to, you know, you'll see the whole in-depth comic review on Dark Avenger Inc., but
I still have to catch up. I gotta get the latest Ultimate Collections book, but I decided to wait because the artwork kind of took a turn in the latest Ultimate Collection, and actually, the fourth and final book actually is together with, anyway, yeah.
But that's one of my favorite comics of the week. There's another comic, but when we get to it, I'll let you guys know.
Okay. Next up, the final part, Locke and Key Omega, issue number 5 of apparently 5. It was supposed to be 5 of 6, but they decided for the last 2 issues, they are going to be doing a separate series, which it's a one-shot that they had to split into 2 comics. 2 double-sized comics, I might add, called Locke and Key Alpha, and I will show the advertisement for that.
Locke and Key Alpha.
Locke and Key.
You should have not taken that from. Wow.
The end of this book leads into Locke and Key Alpha,
so wait, does that mean that they're making another key? Probably.
Yeah, that's the whole point. There was the key for that they made from the hook that was in Ty's hat is the Alpha key. This was the Omega. The Omega key opened the black door, so apparently the Alpha key does something. I don't know what. We don't know what yet. But what happened was they decided instead of making this a 6-issue series and then Alpha being a double-sized standalone, they're making Alpha, and it's going to be 2 issues, and they're both going to be double-sized, and that's going to be the grand finale. So what we get with this issue is the story continues. Ty was shot in the hurt in the last issue. And Kinsey is trapped. Bode is changing all of the people trapped in the tunnel or in the cave into demons or whatever the black door those things do. And it turns out 2 of her friends 2 of their friends were actually turned, and both are using separate keys. One's using the Hercules key, and one is using the Wing key or the Angel key. And also, spoiler alert, minor here, Ty actually gets to talk with his father as he's in limbo, because apparently the rules have changed. Now the mother actually believes, or somehow believes in the keys. Because remember, they forget about the keys when they get older. It's supposed to be a teenage thing. Apparently the mother trusts the key, and Ty comes out okay. He gets healed in the healing cabinet, and now it's just like everything's up in the air. They leave you off with a perfect next, and now my only complaint is we are in June, my friends. The beginning of June, might I also add. The first week of June. This is terrible for one reason. We will not get to see the next part to this story for 2 months.
Why?
Didn't you see? August.
I didn't see that.
August. We will not get to see the next part. We will not get to see the continuation, which leads into the finale, for 2 months.
Wow.
The rest of June, which is understandable, but they're skipping July.
So there has to be a reason then. To make it,
to build up the
suspense.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, it's a really good book. I would definitely say to check it out. Artwork by Gabriel Rodriguez is amazing. Joe Hill, his writing is spectacular. This series has been nothing but amazing from book 1 all the way through here. They actually advertise all the books here. Book 1, which is Welcome to Lovecraft. Book 2 is Head Games. 3 was Crown of Shadows. 4 was Keys to the Kingdom. And 5 was Clockworks. I started getting the individual issues with Volume 5, so I don't have Volume 5 in trade.
I forgot to talk about the artwork for Turtles. It was good.
It was really good. That's Kevin Eastman. Yeah. This is Volume 6. which I believe they'll call Omega. I don't know if the volume, they're going to hold off on it until the 2 alpha parts come out, or they're going to make an alpha book separate, because both of them are double-sized issues, and believe me, 2 double-sized issues can actually make a thin trade paperback. So I don't know what they're going to do, but if you haven't been reading Lock and Key, don't start from here. This is a story that goes from point A to point B, and if you miss out on point A, you're going to miss out on stuff that's happening. Like, you can't just jump into Lock and Key Omega 1 and know everything. You need to go all the way back to Welcome to Lovecraft and start from there and move your way forward. Really worth the read, though, in my opinion. Definitely give Lock and Key a check out. We're now in Marvel with the Superior Spider-Man issue 11.
What happened this time?
Spider Slayer is on death's row, and J. Jonah Jameson wants Spider-Man to be there with him when they execute or lethally inject Spider Slayer. So Doc Ock goes, and of course, you know, he's thinking up every which way. Get some artwork.
Wait, is that without his shoe?
No, he has a shoe.
Oh, it looked like a foot.
Looked like a foot. Doc Ock has some fond flashbacks of when he was Dr. Octopus while he's in the at the raft. Of course, Spider Slayer has a plan or a means to try to break out, but every which way, Doc Ock kind of figured out a way to prevent him from leaving. However, Spider Slayer did have one trick up his sleeve, and it leads into the next issue. And spoiler alert here, it involves Vulture, Boomerang, and Scorpion.
Wow.
So Vulture isn't dead. So that's the gist of it. I love this one line, I will mention that, where Doc Ock is talking about Spider Slayer, and he's like, that old, I forgot who was mentioned, he's like, Spider Slayer gets dragged, and he's like, I've changed, and then Spider-Man, Doc Ock Spidey says, that old chestnut, please, a lifelong criminal, a murderer doesn't suddenly become a different, and I love how she interrupted, she says, why'd you stop, that was gold. He's like, it doesn't matter, we're wasting time, kill the man and let's be done with it, because he's Doc Ock, he's murdered people, he's a criminal. He can't turn over a different leaf is what he was going to say, because it's true. It's true. So,
almost caught himself there.
Almost. Not the worst issue from Superior Spider-Man yet, but at the same time...
No funny lines like Toodaloo or anything else?
No Toodaloo.
Okay, thank God.
But Matt Modell is getting really... is on his last rope with, he's telling Doc Ock as Pete, you know, he's this close to getting fired. Because he says, my patience is only so strong, and then that's it. And don't forget, I'm the boss. So, yeah. Matt Modell is not a happy camper with Peter Parker, even though he doesn't know that Peter Parker is really Doc Ock.
Well, no, I mean, yeah.
So once again, Superior Spider-Man, it's here, you know. I'm liking Superman more than I'm liking Superior Spider-Man right now, but it's...
Well, because Superman's your favorite.
It's building up to something. I feel it in my bones. It's building up to something. At some point, we all know Pete's going to come back. It's just how, where, and when.
Soon, and hopefully soon.
Probably not, and no.
Why? You like this one?
I'm not saying I like it, but I see a lot of people are kind of getting into the whole Doc Ock Spidey.
Not me. I'm sorry.
I know you're not. Secret Origin of Tony Stark continues in Iron Man issue number 11. Shows some artwork. More flashbacks back in time. It turns out 451 is the reason why Tony Stark is as smart as he is, believe it or not. What? Seriously, believe it or not, that's the truth. And the reason Tony Stark is ahead of his time is to save the world, because 451 believes the Earth needs to survive because it is the greatest hope for peace in the galaxy. And look, it's the cover all over again, only in a bigger scale and explaining everything. So in this book, in the past, Tony Stark's mom goes into labor, and the Greys find out that 451 did something to the child, so now the Greys will never stop until they get the baby. We all know they didn't get the baby, so what did Tony Stark's parents do? Find out in the next issue. But, I don't know, I get mixed feelings with 451. It's like, he seems like a good guy, but he has some malicious intent at the same time. It's like, weird. He's like that good guy, but at the same time, he's kind of like crooked in his good ways. Like he tries to be good, but not. Sort of like Venom back in the days, except worse. A little bit. It's hard to explain.
Bad.
Yeah, it's hard to explain. You have to be reading this. Would I say this is... I would definitely say, and I know I'm probably going to get some type of slack from this, but it's not the Iron Man we're all used to. I know everybody misses the previous volume, which was Invincible Iron Man. Believe me, I'm one of those people who misses Iron Man on Earth being Iron Man. However, this was definitely a lot better than the previous stories we've been getting. So, once again, I leave it to you guys, whether you want to check it out or not. Personally, I found the book an interesting read. Could it be better? Of course. Will it be better? It's a lot better than what it's been. So, we'll just have to wait and see.
Okay, another comic of the week. The End of X Factor. Part 106 of X Factor, issue number 257.
And after this, it's all over unless they relaunch it. Unless they relaunch it in Wave 2 of Marvel Now, which has to be coming in September because they keep pushing out new books. You know, the Mighty Avengers is coming.
Yes.
Okay.
Alright. But I'm just saying, like I said in my in-depth comic review, this could mean a good thing or a bad thing. The End of X Factor, but. Yeah, but long story short, we meet up with a kid named Aziz. Aziz, however you say his name. If I said it wrong, my apologies. And he keeps the self-possessed Jamie in his basement to bring his mother back, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff, and if you want to know, just check out my comic review on Dark Avenger Inc. Layla Miller is also there, because she got transported somewhere in the last issue. And there's just a whole big thing about the self-possessed Jamie trying to get Aziz's mother back, and oh boy. Let's just say things didn't go so well for the boy. In that sense. And very, very graphic. And it goes and attacks Layla Miller, and thank God the self-possessed Jamie was there, and it follows her, actually. And that's where it leaves us off with no preview cover. It just says the End of X Factor continues, and yeah. And the artwork also was phenomenal, as always. Great issue. I'm liking the part 1 of 6 of the End of X Factor.
Maybe the possessed thing is gonna somehow disappear.
Yeah, I hope the self-possessed Jamie, I call him self-possessed Jamie, gets out of that spell he's under, but as far as the other team goes, it could go so many ways. I just can't wait to see what's going to happen. But definite pickup, and another favorite comic of the week.
Another good book this week was All New X-Men issue 12. Scott from the past meets his younger brother, who's now older than him, and apparently, of course, the Uncanny X-Men Avengers are there because of the reports of the old-fashioned X-Men, along with somebody with claws in his hand, have been seen. They robbed the bank. Millions of dollars went missing, and Jean Grey hears Scarlet Witch's thoughts and sees that Scarlet Witch, you know, the whole M-Day thing where she got rid of all the mutants, the No More Mutants thing, and she goes completely bonkers, and yeah, it took a lot to put her down, but she wanted to destroy the Scarlet Witch. She's like, how could you have her as an Avenger? How could you be standing next to her? She needs to be destroyed. And, yeah, so basically the Uncanny Avengers say, Wolverine tells them that it's Mystique, you know, because young Scott Summers saw her, and the Uncanny Avengers say, we'll take care of it, you know, stand down, go back to school. Of course, the X-Men aren't going to listen. But while everybody's fighting, you got Scott and his brother, and they're just, it's like, this was like in my opinion, one of my favorite comics this week from Marvel. Just the whole, like, everybody's fighting, everybody's like, you guys gotta go home, this whole thing is wrong. And then Scott and Alex are off hugging somewhere else while everybody's arguing. Because Alex, this is the brother he loved, this is the brother he looked up to, and inspired him to be who he is today, before he went completely Uncanny X-Men. and killed Charles Xavier. So this is the brother he remembers and loves, and it was just a really, really touching moment. And the all-new X-Men are going after Mystique next. And oh boy, I feel bad for Mystique when they show up. But it was just a really touching moment, several touching moments between Alex and young Scott. Definitely something I would highly recommend you guys check out. All New X-Men is one of my top favorite books from Marvel now. It's an amazing series, really great. Unfortunately, I feel I'm almost 100% sure that once the Battle for the Atom happens, the All New X-Men title is probably going to end up being dropped. Or it's going to be a new team and the younger X-Men are going to go back into the past. Because Jean Grey, obviously, they can't keep her around forever. So, yeah. Now, a book that I have never reviewed or never touched up until this point. But because it involves the Infinity Gauntlet, I decided it's time. It's at issue 25. Ultimate Comics, The Ultimates, issue 25. So, Kang, who feels the Earth is going to end, decides. Now, I have no idea how the Ultimates came into possession of the Infinity Gauntlet with several gems already. And by the way, once again, Marvel, thank you so much. Your book's ink runs.
Comic gloves. I'm going to keep mentioning that.
I know you're going to keep mentioning comic gloves, but I'm not buying comic gloves because my DC comic books never do that.
Don't they?
Nope.
Well, they should.
So, Kang decides to free the Hulk, who's been in prison for a while, and
wow.
He ain't too happy, and he's got his hands on the Infinity Gauntlets, minus 3 gems. And yes, this entire book from there on is the Ultimates versus the Hulk, and the Hulk just continues to have the upper hand. Spoiler alert. If you don't want to hear any more, you can fast forward to the end when I put this book down. But, okay, here we go. For those of you that read the Legacy comic, Wolverine, Ultimate Comics Wolverine Legacy, that explains where Quicksilver comes in. But also, Kang frees Reed Richards, who in the Ultimate Universe is a bad guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
He actually gets his hands on another of the Infinity Gems, and they are 2 away from a complete gauntlet, or the 2 complete gauntlets. The Ultimates escape all except for Captain America, who actually stays behind to make sure that the Ultimates leave. And basically he's now the prisoner of Kang, Quicksilver, Reed Richards, and the Hulk. And Kang makes the proclamation, the end of this universe is coming and we are the only hope. God help me, Kang will not let this world die again.
So he should die alone.
Again.
Again?
To be continued in 2 weeks. So not next week, but the week after we'll be getting the next part. This is Disassembled. I have been away from the Ultimate Comics universe for a very long time, ever since Ultimatum. There were proclamations in here about being able to go back and undo certain things. Does this mean something for the... basically, most of the Ultimate X-Men were just decimated in Ultimatum. Is this the Ultimate Universe way of undoing some deaths, possibly? The Infinity Gauntlet can go back and fix certain things. They make mention of Ultimatum. Basically, every time there was a major event or something bad happened, an Infinity Gem was created. Reed Richards' event was one, Ultimatum was another, and so on, all the way down the Ultimate line. The question now is, will this series, will Ultimates Disassemble lead to a semi-fix to the old, not fix, but a redo button to certain events in the Ultimate Universe? I don't think so, because I think if that was the case, it would have been a separate miniseries completely. Like, it would have been a standalone kind of miniseries in the Ultimate Universe, like Ultimatum was. But at the same time, they do make mentions about fixing certain mistakes. Could some people be coming back from the dead? Because they said the proclamation was dead is dead in the Ultimate Universe. Now, I don't see Miles Morales getting taken out by Peter Parker, you know, undoing Peter Parker's death yet.
Never know.
Yet. Right. But it wouldn't be bad though. You know, if you really think about it, Peter Parker can come back as Spider-Man, and Miles Morales will become the Scarlet Spider. Or vice versa. Peter Parker could become the Scarlet Spider, and the Scarlet Spider-Man, and
or
Miles
a different
Morales
type
could be
of
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. That could be a new costume.
No. So, I don't know, but there's a lot of mentions about whenever the Infinity Gauntlet is mentioned, there is always alternating of some type of whatever. So, I'm glad I jumped onto this. Definitely recommend it. One of my high recommendations from Marvel this week, next to all new X-Men, as well as, well, all new X-Men at least. And Mike recommends X Factor, so we'll say X Factor.
And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No, I'm talking about just Marvel.
Oh, Marvel, yeah, then.
So,
yeah, definitely.
something to check out, guys. Really quick, we are going into DC. We have 2 minutes left, so I'm going to end this here. We're going to go to a brief commercial break, and we will be right back after these messages from our sponsors. Stay tuned, guys, and we will see you guys in a few moments. Hey everybody, and welcome back to this week's Dark Avenger Comic Book Review. We are now in DC Comics, Earth 2 number 13. Once again, right after the annual where we got the background on Atom Smasher, the whole origin of him, we get the origin of Captain Steel now. Thus why the whole cover and whatnot. And from the annual, actually, we also get to see Batman, the new Earth 2 Batman, confront Hawkgirl, actually, which was very interesting. And Hawkgirl's actually questioning what she sees when, as she's leaving. She's like, tell me I'm not hallucinating or anything. No Green Lantern in this book, no Flash, no Justice Society at all. So Steel, Captain Steel goes into this red void that's appeared on Earth, and the ship goes in, but only Captain Steel emerges. And the only reason why this is actually, at least that caught a tiny bit of my interest this week, was what he said in the last panel right here, right before the book ended. And it's not a huge spoiler. The Red Lantern, we have to save the world from her, protect the Earth. If she ever gets out, our planet dies. So now we're getting the Earth 2 version of a Red Lantern. So this is going to be interesting to see.
That's the only good part you're saying of the book.
The only interesting part of the whole book, I mean, the Justice Society was completely absent once again from this book. We had the annual, no Justice Society, but we did get to see the next Earth 2.
Yeah, but isn't Earth 2 a totally different thing than the Justice Society?
That's the Justice League.
No, I'm just saying for Justice Society to be in Earth 2, maybe there's a reason.
I don't know, but we haven't seen the main characters for 2 issues now. One being the annual and the other being issue 13. Now we have to wait a whole other month before we see the next part. Also to clear it out, we mentioned that James Robinson on the live show was leaving at issue 13. That's not true. He's leaving at issue 16. So there's 3 more months worth of James Robinson before we go into a new writer. So, I don't know. A few people said they were bored. They got bored with Earth 2 this week. To be honest, I feel the same way. It was another origin story or background story. Red Lanterns was mentioned. No Green Lantern, no Flash, no Dr. Fate, and we have Hawkgirl for like 2 pages where the Earth 2 new Batman shows up, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yours is next. We're going on to the dark corner of the DC Universe for the next 2 issues.
Alright, Trinity of Sin, The Phantom Stranger, issue number 9.
Now we're getting into... I don't understand how this is connected to the Trinity War, but apparently it's now connected to the Trinity War.
Well, I can pretty much say how. Also, by the way, the Justice League Dark is in this.
And so is Etrigan.
And Etrigan. So that's why
also the Spectre.
Spectre where? Oh, yeah, the Spectre's in it, yeah. So, long story short, the Phantom Stranger wants to find his family, which Philip Stark you know, wants to kill them. And there's just a whole big dialogue where the Fam Stranger goes into his conscious mind, where he meets Philip Stark and Etrigan. And when he meets with his family, I couldn't even show my in-depth comic review.
It's not exactly, yeah, there's a lot of, it's very graphic. If you guys are interested, I read this book too.
Yeah.
This was a really good book, and it was really wow when he did get to see his family, but definitely not something we're going to show here.
Yeah.
You have to read it for yourself. Jay Lee, I believe, does the cover. I am not a fan of Jay Lee's artwork at all. I'm actually happy to say that Jay Lee did not do the internal artwork, though. No insult to the artist. His art definitely works, just not for superheroes, in my opinion. That's why I'm not going to be getting the Batman-Superman. Sorry, Batman takes the front row now. The Batman-Superman series for the first couple of arcs until after the artwork changes.
And there's a brief return of Terrence 13 as well, with the whole betraying Fam Stranger. So he's trying to sacrifice himself to keep the family alive and everything, and he just goes to a lie, and he just says to Etrigan, yeah, right there. And then he just says to Etrigan, swear to me that you'll let them go, and everything else. And meanwhile, Philip Stark leaves, and Etrigan was, well, you have to find out what Etrigan really was. It
turns out that Etrigan really wasn't there.
But the ending,
the page, the artwork on that page is spectacular. Check out his in-depth review to see the last page.
I mean,
a spectacular artwork on that last page, and the symbolism on that page was wow.
All I can say is,
oh wait, I want to show one thing that I didn't show in mine.
Well, I was just gonna say, it just goes from hell to heaven. That's all I'm gonna say.
Channel 52. For those of you that don't know anything about the Green Lanterns, any DC book you get this week will actually run down every single Lantern Corps, except for the black and the white.
Yeah. But to me, I thought this issue was a good and okay issue. I mean, I haven't read Fam Stranger from issue 1, but his character really interests me, and I think it's gonna.
I think it's not gonna fit in plastic.
I think it's gonna lead to the Trinity War due to the fact that you know, he's working with the Justice League Dark, and he might team up with them, which I hope he does, because he'd be a good addition to Justice League Dark, in my opinion. And who knows, it might lead to something else, but I would recommend you guys pick it up for those of you who are Fam Stranger comic fans, but up to you. But I'm looking forward to seeing the next issue, especially with the whole Helltown and all that.
Next up, sticking in, like I said, the dark side of the DCU, Swamp Thing issue 21. We find out who the girl was from the previous issue, and she's looking for sanctuary because she's going to die. Apparently she's lived for over 10,000 years and has been hunted her entire life, and now she wants to be protected after she dies by the Green. And there is a part where Swamp Thing goes back in time, thus why the cover, and through the Green he goes back in time and meets up with a former Swamp Thing who actually looks really awesome. Looks like he has a hood, kind of like the Assassin's Creed version of Swamp Thing.
Oh yeah.
And something happens in the Green, and it causes trauma. I love the artwork in this book. I absolutely love it. And the first mention of, I believe the first mention at least, of the cedar is mentioned. And while Swamp Thing wants to deal with this woman who's looking for sanctuary or protection, or what was the thing that she called it?
The sun?
Yeah, sanctuary. I was right. Will you give me sanctuary? Swamp Thing decides to go off and find the cedar, and the last words, he found out where he was through the Green, and he says, "You're in Scotland, but I'm there too. I'm everywhere, and I'm angry with you." The next issue, the Whiskey Tree.
Whiskey Tree.
I don't know. Last issue kind of had me worried. This issue kind of builds me back up again a bit. I don't believe Swamp Thing's ending. I hope he's not. I'm really enjoying this series. There have been a couple of hiccups here or there. Animal Man kind of really left me kind of... So we'll see where Animal Man goes. But as far as Swamp Thing goes, I feel the series definitely picked up. I definitely want to know more about the Cedar. So we'll see as the time goes forward and the issues come out where this is all going. So that's Swamp Thing. Definitely one of my high recommendations from DC this week.
And I'm forgetting artwork for the Phantom Stranger. It was good. It was good artwork. Just thought I'd point it out. Green Arrow issue number 21. Been waiting for this issue for pretty long-ish while, like maybe 5 weeks or so, but this issue, I mean, the story, it just keeps picking up and getting better and better. The story goes that Magnus tells Green Arrow about the origin of his father, about the whole island thing that's been going on. The splash page, which artwork here is amazing, and has been as well. So, yeah, he just learns more about his father, and Komodo, who was actually with his father, Richard, and he went by the name of Lacrosse, and we learned a little bit about him, and Emerson joined as well, which was a shocker. And, yeah, there's just a whole thing, and the three-headed dragon. I mean, if you guys want to know about three-headed dragon, really just read this comic book, because this is actually going to play a role for the Green Arrow issues to come. The only thing I can say is, though, they are going to Velatava, where Naomi and Henry Piff want to join along with him, like the olden days, and Naomi wants to get vengeance for what happened to her, actually. And next issue, it looks like, I mean, Green Arrow that wants to get revenge for Komodo after killing his father and all that. You know, I mean, I don't blame him. I mean, he really wants to get Komodo and probably do whatever it is to get revenge, but great book. Highly recommend you read Green Arrow, and yeah, and that's all for this week for me.
Next issue of Batwing, Batwing issue 21, continues with the awesomeness. Awesomeness. I was going to say Lucas before I finished awesomeness.
Wait, where did Lucas come in?
Luke Fox is Batwing.
Oh.
So, last issue, things didn't look good for Batwing. Fighting Lion Mane. Yeah, I was right. He was out cold. This book actually picks up perfectly right at the end of the last issue. That's where they left Batwing off. But it turns out he was playing dead. And Batwing has tons of awesome gadgets. And I was talking with Mike Spiderslayer, and I agree with him. This is like reading an Iron Man comic at times. He just keeps pulling different gadgets out of his armory, his Batwing suit. He's got the batarangs, he's got sprays, he's got the electrical field thing. He throws everything at Lion Mane, and Lion Mane just doesn't want to go down. And then out of nowhere, thank God for Batman, he shows up, and they take Lion Mane, and Lion Mane gets taken down, and actually is taken into custody. Luke goes back to Gotham. 1 week later, he's in his apartment still healing from that huge fight. There was a hilarious 3 pages of Luke and his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend. Not too sure there. But, wow, it was funny, and at the same time, yeah, it was just really good. And then Interpol goes after Lion Mane. They try to take him out. That doesn't work. Lion Mane's going after Batwing. Interpol's going after Batwing. Luke is back home for the first time in 2 months. Things are definitely unsettled in that house between him, his father, and the rest of his family. That's the Interpol.
Oh, I thought it was something else. It looked like...
And, yeah, him and his father definitely do not see eye to eye at this moment. And, the way they leave this book off, ooh, big things definitely coming for Luke and his family. Under Siege is the next issue, and definitely fits the book. This was a really good issue. Could you go with that? Thank you. This is a really awesome issue. I enjoyed it highly. Batwing, especially after the change in mantles, or the change in I don't know how to put it, but basically Batwing changed hands. it definitely, absolutely picked up from where Batwing was, say, 4 or 5 months ago. New suit, new person, character, however you want to say it, new adventures, and it's just really good, and it just keeps getting better and better. Artwork fits the book perfectly. Definitely something you guys should be checking out. Okay, we're now in Green Lantern issue 21, and for those of you wondering, I did find out. Thank you guys so much for your comments on my my Friday screwing up
Friday comic haul.
Thank you, book haul.
Book haul.
I got a ton of comments saying the rings were delayed. This book was supposed to come with a Green Lantern ring. Now, I don't know if they're going to be sticking a Green Lantern ring in my next order with Green Lantern Corps, because Green Lantern Corps is supposed to be coming with a Blue Lantern ring, or if now we have to pay because on Midtown it's $2.99 for the new version of the Green Lantern ring. I have a ton.
Is this the glossy version?
Matted.
The one like we have? Oh, okay.
Now, as you guys can see, we have a ton of Green Lantern rings. I'm not paying $2.99 plus $5.99 shipping for another Green Lantern ring. So, if that's the case with the Green Lantern rings, oh well. We missed out on the Green Lantern one. I'm sorry. And to be honest, I'm a little bit upset with Midtown because I see everybody gets incentives and little poster thingies and little add-ons when they make their comic book purchases at their comic shops. But Midtown Comics, who actually used to send things with the comic books, now send nothing. All I get is advertisements for things in Midtown Comics. No posters like people get, no little index cards with little promotions, no little promotions from Marvel or DC. I used to get that when I first started with Midtown. I got everything with my comic books. Now, for those of you that buy on Midtown through the internet, you guys know, just like me, nada. Not a thing, and that is definitely one of my highest complaints about Midtown Comics ordering online. Nada incentives that the comic shops get, and that's kind of a minus in my opinion, but no comic shop near me, so tis the way it is, and that's that. But I do know there are several people that offered. If you guys get a free Green Lantern ring and are able to grab me another one, once again, thank you so much, as I've said to several people that said they would. I don't know if anybody will, but if you guys do, thank you. But, well, let's get into the book now. Green Lantern 21. I don't know, it's going to take a while to get over Jeff Johns leaving this book, I guess, but, you know, the predictable stuff happens. You know, Hal Jordan's a Green Lantern again. The relationship between him and Carol is kind of rocky because of the fact that he's, you know, Green Lantern over being Hal Jordan. I'm sure this is going to be one of the main issues as the story continues forward. The new Guardians aren't ready to be the Guardian, like the heads of the Green Lantern Corps yet, because they're fresh, they're new, they've been away for a while, so they put Hal in charge. This is all part of the description. That's kind of why it's funny. The book actually takes place a little bit in the future, and the power battery has no light. This was all part of the preview also. So basically, Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps ranks are highly diminished. So instead of doing what Kilowog suggests, which by the way, Kilowog is now taking over Salak's job as the overlooker of everything that's going on because Salak quit. This is way back before he was in prison. Kilowog says we got to rebuild Oa before we send out the rings to get new recruits. And yeah, Hal Jordan decides not to wait. And I love how Kilowog says, you arrive and within 5 minutes you manage to throw the planet off its axis. This has got to be a record, even for you. And then just as this happens, Larfleeze attacks. Oa is at its most vulnerable and weakest right now. And Larfleeze wants to take advantage of this moment and take everything. We also get a point here where all the lanterns are called. One lantern stays behind. Where was it? Cosset. And he's actually in love with one of the inmates, it looks like. So, the fight between Larfleeze and the Green Lanterns happens, and Hal Jordan's hoping that, you know, these rings that he sent out will bring back these big, strong, you know, will-powered people. And instead it brings back, I'm going to spoil it here because it's just too hilarious not to, it brings back these kids. And for those of you that saw the preview, you actually saw who the rings picked anyway. It brings back these kids or these young, it looks like this kid is like really...
They look like alien kids.
The young, well the girl looks a little bit older, but mostly teenage to this heavy, I mean... It doesn't bring back what Hal Jordan was hoping for. And then in the end, the future for Green Lantern is right here. And you see the woman from the science cells. You see a planet exploding. You see this guy who was actually in one of the panels in the very beginning of the book. You see Hal Jordan choking. And the White Lantern, the Source Wall, and Mogo. Mm-hmm. Looks like big things are going to be happening in Green Lantern.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I guess we'll see how this goes. It's a first issue for the new writers, so of course it's really mainly setting up the blueprints, as Mike Spider-Slayer puts it, for what's to come in his run on Green Lantern. We'll just have to wait and see where Robert Venditti takes Green Lantern. It looks promising. I feel bad for Hal Jordan, but once again, there were tons of rings that were sent out throughout the entire universes. Who knows what new characters will be brought in. Robert Venditti can create a bunch of new characters for Green Lantern. We don't know yet. We'll have to wait and find out what characters show up as time moves forward in Green Lantern. Definitely something to check out. If you guys are buying this for the incentive rings, unfortunately, you will not be getting a Green Lantern ring with this issue. However, I do know for a fact that next week, Green Lantern Corps 21 will be coming with a Blue Lantern ring, and the Green Lantern ring as well is being put out on the market. However, I don't know if it's coming out as a freebie or if the comic shops are charging. From what I saw on my pre-order list on Midtown, it said $2.99 for the ring. You could order the ring alone. I don't know if one book's going to come with 2 rings, which is fair but unfair, because for those of you that bought Green Lantern 21, you wanted the ring. Who knows? It all depends, I guess, on the comic shops and what they choose to do. Once again, I will not be purchasing the ring when I could have very easily gotten it for free as an incentive with this book, but once again, tons of people have offered if they find it for free, so I appreciate that a lot. So, but if not, like I said, we've got a ton of Green Lantern rings.
Yeah, we got more than 2 copies, I think, right? Yeah.
We have over 2 copies.
Over 2 copies.
Last but not least, Superman Action Comics issue 21, the final issue of the Hybrid series, and it continues the World of Krypton. I like how it's a little thing here now in the corner.
Oh, the World of Krypton.
So, Superman versus the Hybrids, or the Hybrid. That's really not the main attraction. I mean, Superman figures out how to put them down how to put the hybrids down pretty easy. The main attraction is, of course, Superman versus Lex Luthor. And because the hybrids lose their powers through red sunlight or red light, this is going on while Superman is overlooking what's going on. Veritas, actually, Dr. Veritas is the one that's using the red light to I don't know if it's a cure, or if it's a way to get the hybrid oh, what was it? To weaken the organisms inside the people and diminish the hybrid. So Superman's powered down as well, and Lex Luthor just takes this opportunity to beat the crap out of him. Of course, Superman finds a way out, does the whole running to the sun thing. The artwork by Tony S. Daniel is awesome, and it is to note that Andy Diggle left the outline for this series, but Tony S. Daniel, Tony S. Daniel wrote the last 2 parts of this series. So he did the art and the writing, and his artwork for this book is spectacular. Superman takes down Lex Luthor. Lois Lane has the evidence on her cell phone. You get that moment at the end where it's the Lois and Clark moment that you're like, oh, please do it. But then, unfortunately, John Carl, or Yeah, Carol shows up and Lois is going out with him. Then you have the secondary story, which is all about Krypton and Laura. And then, of course, you get the advertisement for the next issue. Which I believe the next issue is actually jumping into the present, because it mentions Hive. So I guess this is the last issue that's 1 year in the past. So now we're going into the present. We're no longer in the past for Action Comics. In Action Comics for now, at least. This is a really good read. You get that moment where it's like Lois and Clark need to get back together. It's like, yes, this is then no. Well, we all knew this was a year in the past.
I was like, yeah.
This was a year ago, so we all knew that Lois and Clark weren't going to get together. But at some point, I am hoping, because we all know that at some point, Wonder Woman and Superman are going to separate. Hopefully, after that happens, we'll get some Lois and Clark. Maybe. We'll see. So, definitely something to check out. And with that, that's it for this week, guys.
And don't forget, June 14th, Man of Steel hits theaters.
And June 12th is Man of Steel Day.
Oh, yeah.
Or Superman Day.
Superman shirt.
So get to your local Sears and get a free comic book. So.
I'm going to get a different shirt, because this is Ben Rauch, Superman.
Yeah, and we want to forget about Superman Returns.
Oh, let's forget about that indeed.
So, let's run down the books. Got time. Action Comics 21, really good, something to check out. Green Lantern 21, Robert Venditti sets up for his run on Green Lantern. Looking interesting. Batwing 21 was awesome. Green Arrow 21.
Great issue, can't wait for the next one.
Swamp Thing 21, looking really interesting. Can't wait to see more about the Cedar in the next issue. Phantom Stranger 9 was an awesome book. I wouldn't agree.
Good and okay issue, but I'll get the next one to see what.
I'm getting the next one.
Well, yeah.
Earth 213 continues with the Origins. Come on, people, move forward. Ultimate Comics, Ultimates 25, Ultimates Disassemble. Really good. Infinity Gauntlet, huge things coming for Ultimates. All New X-Men number 12, really good. Love the Alex and Scott Summers moment. X-Factor number 257.
Excellent issue, looking good so far. Can't wait to see what's in store next.
Iron Man number 11 isn't the Iron Man we've all known and loved and wish we could see again. Right now it's out in space. It's all about how Tony Stark became Tony Stark, rewriting a bit of his origin, so to speak, but something to read. I leave it up to you guys, as well as Superior Spider-Man 11. That's up to you guys. Locke and Key Omega, the final issue, issue 5, leading into Alpha, part 1 and 2. 2 issues to go before it's all over. Amazing series. If you have not been reading this, you have an entire month. Actually, you have an entire 2 months before the final 2 issues. So catch up and trade paperbacks. It's an awesome series. Color Classics, issue 11.
Another excellent issue, and yeah.
Was excellent in the 80s, excellent in the 2000s. Don't forget to check out comicrelated.com for your comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. Dark Avenger Inc. has officially hit our 1,000 subscriber. We are way over our 1,000 subscriber already. Thank you all so very much for all your support, your subscriptions, your comments, your messages. Same on this channel. Thank all of you guys. I'm at 1,500 and something subscribers. Thank all of you guys so much for your subscription, your comments, your messages. Love all you guys. We are here for you guys. If you haven't already, if you're new to this channel, if you're new to hearing about Dark Avenger Inc., please do subscribe to this channel as well as Dark Avenger Inc. We try to give you guys 110% of ourselves. There will be a celebration thing that we will be doing for our 1,000 subscribers. We'll figure that out. Live show is not happening this week. It will be next Tuesday. This Tuesday we are having a Dark Avenger Inc. meeting talking about all things for you guys, setting up for things for you guys, talking about things for the future, big things coming for Dark Avenger Inc. and also, of course, planning for the 1,000 subscriber video. So guys, with that, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and I will see you guys next week for another Dark Avenger comic book review. See you guys then. Take care, everybody.
Later, guys.